Alright, gentlemen, here it is. Give you a brief overview of what the layout looks like. And all this track along this side is basically just sitting there. From this joint right here, that way is all just sitting on the layout. So let me start down here at the bare end. This is going to be downtown. Union Station will be sitting right there, and that first track is the passenger siding. There will be a, passenger siding, depot siding. There will be a concrete walkway between the two for a passenger platform. And this junky old track right here is going to be the main line. It will actually be flex track at the time that it becomes permanent. I'm going to have an engine shop sitting here. This is just an old toy that I've got sitting there to depict where I want to put stuff. I'm going to have an overpass right here coming over the layout, and I'm going to have a mirror underneath it so it looks like the traffic as it's going that way goes on past the wall. Anyway, coming this way, there will be, a couple of yard tracks right here just for storage, and then the two lines going into the engine shop. It's all going to come together out here on this outside track, which will be basically an industry track that leads all the way back around the layout. The main line and the passenger depot siding come together right there. There will be another switch right here, which leads off. You can see the pencil line going back that way, and that is going to be the old REA line. Here we've got an industry stub that is going to be, that's where, if you guys have read my previous blogs on it, that's where the brewery is going to be sitting. It's going to be cut at an angle and mounted up against the wall, and I'll have backdrops and everything back here. You don't have to worry about a white wall in the future. Anyway, main line coming around to here, and yes, I've just got a bunch of junk sitting here to represent for right now. There will be a switchback going back into this siding, which is going to be abandoned for the grain, but going back to the brewery sitting there. Coming around this way, we'll go into, and all the buildings that I've got sitting on the layout right now are just representational. They are not the structures that are going to go there, but I'm going to have a arrival track and departure track for boxcars, I believe, for some kind of industry there. Coming back out here, back into the switchback, back onto the main line going here. It switches over into the industry track, and we'll go farther into that here in a little bit. But coming to here, there is another switch that will be going here, and then over into the corner that will be a switch right there, and those two tracks will be either a coal mine or a power supply company or something requiring coal, because I've got plenty of coal guns that I need to have sitting somewhere, and of course I've just got two little structures sitting there for now to get them out of my way. And then back this way, it will curve around behind this industry, split into two tracks, one feeding the freight dock and the other feeding the grain elevator system of this wonderful co-op grain elevator that a friend of mine built and we used in the South Canadian Club for years and years. He and I both quit the club, and we took our respective stuff, and he got out of the hobby and gave me all of his stuff. So I doubled my train rolling stock and locomotives and everything in one day. Anyway, back over here to that switch. I'm going to go ahead and take you back over here to where it switches into the industry line, and as you remember, that is the one that fed the engine shed over there, and there'll be another crossover right back in here for a switching runaround. But anyway, it will come over this way and switch off to another industry track here, which will switch back into here, and I'm going to have a propane company, and I know that's not a propane car, that's just a little Gulf oil tanker sitting there, as I'm going to use this word a lot, representation. I'm going to have the office sitting there and two propane tanks sitting here, and then of course in and out with propane tankers. This switch is going to feed a hardwood furniture company, Hopefully the one that has the track going under the edge of the building. I think you're all familiar with that one that I'm speaking of. And this is going to lead back and switch off into 2 lines, and there will be the Medusa Cement Company there, but it's going to be called something else in honor of one of my friends who is also actually on our site. It's Silver Jixer. You've probably seen him logged on as a couple of times, but he's a friend of mine from around the Guthrie area, and he's been into model railroading for quite some time. Anyway, industry track leading back around over here, inside track here, coming to here, switching back, and I've got a lumber yard sitting there for right now, but it's actually going to be a logging company. And out here, ignore the mess under the layout right now, but I'm going to have a base of plywood coming out here that extends from that edge over to about where that tower is sitting, and there's going to be a lake on there, and I'm going to have the conveyor system coming out into the lake and going back up to the logging sawmill basically, and then I'll have this track actually switched around behind there. You can see where my pencil line is. That's going to go over there, and I'm going to have bulkhead flat cars, you know, with lumber loads, that type of thing. Anyway, back to this switch here. That just runs off into a couple of different yard tracks that I'm going to have go this way, and these 3 tracks that you see ending right there, just going to be industry yard tracks. Okay, back over here to where the main line switched into it. This is still the main line coming around the outside track here, and that switch right there is the beginning of the passenger siding for, as we come up here, this is the kit that I bought at the Oklahoma City Train Show, the Walther's Cornerstone. Anyway, that's where that is going to be an active depot, but the freight house that sits off to the side there is actually going to be a railroad museum. And I'm going to have these old River Rossi passenger cars. I'm going to weather them up quite a bit, have people hanging out of them, you know, taking pictures and everything, but they're going to be sitting on these tracks back here. And I'm going to have my little 440 American sitting right here beside the GP7 there, and then I'm going to have just some of my old box cars and cabooses sitting back behind that. But anyways, I've got a removed switch there and a removed switch there, main line right here in front of the depot siding, and it's going to go into a tunnel which is going to go quote unquote off the layout under the big mountain where my wife is going to build a hotel and a diner, and she's going to be doing the museum and, you know, a neat little playground and everything back here. That's my master bathroom right there, and this is my hinge up section. This is why I was saying that I wasn't using Unitrack or cork, because as you can see, as those hinges fold up, these would bind right here, and also over here, if I was to elevate my hinges, this section right here would try to shift this way as the platform came up, and then they would catch, you know, well, actually my gap is right here, but they would catch there. So I've just decided to go with track on the plywood. Anyway, there's going to be a little bit of a picnic area and playground there for kids. My daughter wants to get in on the action, so we're going to have her doing some housing right in through here, a little bit of a residential area. I'm going to have to, you know, paint some backdrops here to put into place. Nice place for an electrical panel, isn't it? Anyway, there's going to be rock outcroppings between the track and a little bit of the edge of some more mountains right here. I'm going to have mountain scenery back behind the housing and everything. I'm going to have a slide-in-place backdrop to cover the bathroom door, and then, of course, mountains all down there. I think I said there's the cement company here, hardwood furniture there, propane company there. Not sure what this is going to be yet, but grain elevator, brewery, and I may put something on the old REA track, I'm not sure, but Union Station there, and downtown overpass with mirror under it, engine servicing facility. And I'm just going to taper off from Union Station, you know, with downtown buildings along the backdrop, and then just going more and more rural as it comes along, and into the grain elevator. Some industries along here, coal, and on around. So what do you think, guys? Write me back, let me know. Talk to you later.